I want to share something. Now, I was born and raised in California, and I went to Los Angeles Unified School District. And one of the field trips every year for kids in Los Angeles Unified School District back in the 80s was going to the California Science Center. And I remember one of the exhibits in the Science Center, no matter what we did, we had to go sit through this movie with this 50-foot size woman, and they called her Tess. And they showed you this little bitty video with Tess. And it shows how the body works. It shows how the body works and all of the body parts work together. But sometimes when parts of the body are off, it stops the homeostasis of your body. So that was the big thing. For me, I remember like, oh, we have to go see Tess again. And we had to go through and see Tess before we can go and experiment and run around the museum and do the scavenger hunts. And I thought about that big test and the importance of your body having homeostasis. And I kind of related it to our lives as we move through our lives every day. We're moving around, we're not thinking about anything, we're like on automatic. And it's like sometimes we do things and we push ourselves too far. And what I had to come to realize as an adult is that the body remembers the stress. Even when our mouth says, oh, I'm okay, I'm fine, I got this, no, I can do it. Knowing in your head, your body is like, no, we are not in homeostasis here. And what you have to understand is that that's a time in your life when it's okay to slow down. Take a breather. Inhale, exhale, do what you have to do. I see a lot of people now doing like these tapping exercises. And basically what that is that we have to calm our nervous system down, because our nervous system gets so used to these routines we give it. It gets used to the hustle and bustle where you're working under pressure. Today, my doctor took me off work first thing in the morning, but I had a report that was due by 5 o'clock today. And instead of saying, hey, I'm going to pass it on to somebody else, you know what I did? I wrote the whole report within an hour. I had a headache, my back was hurting, but my goal was I have to write this report because I don't want anybody else doing my work. And it's not fair to pass it on. So even though my doctor took me off work at 9, I didn't leave until 1 p.m. But my thing is that I went in there, I pushed out this report in an hour and a half. I had all the attachments. I called, I noticed parents. I did everything that I was supposed to do. Something that would usually take me upwards of like 2 days to complete. I completed it in like 2 hours tops. And by the time I handed my doctor's note to my boss, he was like, okay, once you hand me the note, that's it, you gotta leave. And I'm like, okay, report is in, I have the attachments. All they have to do is upload it into the system. But what I did was, instead of doing what my doctor said and listening to my body, I went against it. And it's like your nervous system gets used to operating. And he was like, you did that? And like, I was like, yeah. I said, I don't know what it is, but I work so much better under pressure, which is not always good. That heightened sense of survival mode all the time, and being a horrible procrastinator that I am, I have trained myself to work under pressure, which isn't good for my body, which isn't good for my nervous system. So when I finally walked out of the building, sat in my car, and took a breath, my head was pounding. And it made me think of that big anatomical doll at the California Science Center, because what I did was offset my nervous system. And I also thought it and related it to relationships. Sometimes it's harder to get over certain people than others, because what happens is your nervous system remembers. It remembers everything you do. It gets used to those routines. It gets used to like good morning text. Your body gets used to it because that's what it is. Those habits that you started to build up in relationships, talking to each other, texting each other. And when all those things stop, you're sitting here wondering like, why can't I just get over this person? Why is this person on my mind? Why am I dreaming about this person? Because guess what? Even though physically you're not with this person anymore, your nervous system is still there. Your nervous system has to come off that high. They have to let go of that pattern. So don't beat yourself up if you're still missing somebody, thinking about the memories and the good times, and you're feeling sad. That's okay. That's part of healing. And it's nothing wrong with you because we all go through it. Now, some people we really didn't care about too much. So we can just let them go. But other people, we really gave them a part of us and they became part of our daily lives. And when it absent, it's just like a death. You have to learn to live without the person. It's not easy, and it's really hard when the person is still alive. But just know you have to give your body time to come up off that high. And just because you feel like, oh, I'm done, it's over, da da da. That person still has imprinted on your heart. It has to heal. Like a wound, you have to sew it up, bandage it. It has to sit. It has to slow down and let things happen naturally. So don't break yourself for feeling these things. I was just like, why did I do that to myself? Why do you stay in places longer than what you should do? And why do we overexert ourselves all the time? And when we sit here and say, oh, I'm never going to do that again, and every single time you do it. So habits are really, really hard to break. And one habit that I had to really test myself on is I've been on a 14-day liquid diet. And when I tell you, I love food. Food is my comfort. Food is my social, you gather and you socially eat food. When you're sad, you eat food. When you're happy, you eat food. When you're watching TV, you eat food. And sometimes I'm just eating automatically. And I didn't realize how addicted to food I was and how much it was a big part of my life. So on this 14-day diet, I'm on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. All you think about is, girl, they have the egg rolls with cabbage. They got soul food egg rolls. And I'm like, mouth just watering. And I'm just like, I never knew. And it's a habit that you have to learn to break. And for me, 14 days of just liquids and no food. And I sat at home and cooked 4th of July meal for my sons and could not taste. I had to make them taste whatever. And I stuck to it. And it's just when you set your mind to break in old habits, everything will happen naturally. You allow your nervous system to reset. And like I told somebody, I'm like, girl, my skin is so clear. And clearly it was something I was eating to, whereas I was always breaking out. But it's just rewarding to just relax and let your body heal itself. So, as much as I hated Big Tess and having to go in there and sit and listen to that movie and her playing at the park and then that body moving all robotically and weird, as an adult, I can appreciate the lesson of homeostasis. You have to be an even keel mentally, physically, emotionally, because that is the way the body is set. It's not set to be in hyper action all the time or always rushing, doing this, and it's like pushing it to the limits. You only have one body. You only have one nervous system. And it's like you mess up your brain and nervous system, you're a goner. So all I want to say is to you guys, like Tess, keep it balanced. If you have to stop and take a breath and a breather, do that. Sometimes you just got to blow that shit out. That's all I really have to say. It's just your body still feels the stress, even though you will continue to push it to the limit. It's an amazing machine. Respect it, love on it, pamper it, let it know that you love it, because you only get one. And once that expiration date comes, there's no coming back. Anyway, love you guys. Bye.